Cricket Tell the Weather? Now that's a good name for a band. I had to ask the band, Cricket Tell the Weather, how they got their name, and many more questions. Listen on to see what I had to ask. I'm on the phone with Andrea from Cricket Tell the Weather. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Lillian. Thanks for having me.
So I know just a few days ago your newest album, Tell the Story Right, came out. Can you tell my listeners a little bit about it?
Sure. Tell the Story Right is Cricket Tell the Weather's second album. So it is mostly my original tunes with a couple of covers, one by Regina Spektor, one by Laura Marling, and a spiritual. And and it's mostly our original music.
So what was the best part of making the album?
It was fun for me to be able to sort of compile a selection of tunes that were really meaningful to me, both to include songs that I'd written that were meaningful to me, and also to really connect with some of the traditionals and covers that we did, to kind of give, to sort of put the album together in a way that feels cohesive because it feels sort of representative about a certain point in life. So I think that being able to take that from the start to finish and have a finished product about it, a final, this is that period of time, and have it be done. I think that whole process was really exciting.
I bet it was. Okay, so now we're going to backtrack a little bit. I know you grew up a classical musician in Colorado. What made you end up being a bluegrass musician in New York?
Well, I grew up a classical musician. Both my parents were classical musicians, and they were very encouraging of me playing music as a kid. But they also just really wanted me to have it. They never had any, grand ambitions for me as a classical musician. And so they were very supportive when I wanted to sort of branch out and do other things. And I had attended an arts high school for a year in Denver School of the Arts. And the orchestra conductor there was very, he was a fiddle player himself, and he wanted to expose us to a lot of, traditional music. And he introduced us to fiddle music, Scottish and Irish fiddle music, and we ended up taking a trip. My first exposure to traditional fiddling, and I really, really loved it. And I ended up, sort of falling out of the whole, or not falling out, but just not being very inspired by, the idea of becoming a classical musician. And so I didn't, I stopped playing classical music for quite a while and sort of studied other things in college and didn't come back around to it until towards the end of my college, and found some people to play with who, were playing American folk music and wanted to have a fiddle player on that. And I really just started playing with a lot of people around me. I was sort of moving around quite a bit, through college and post-college. And so I was moving around a lot for work, and I always had the ability to, plug in with a community of bluegrass musicians or, people who are needing a fiddle player, which tends to be, all sorts of different traditional music and, traditional inspired music, have a community of people that I could play with through that. And so I really just got into playing bluegrass through wanting to, play and meet people as I was sort of moving around a bit. And, and I ended up in New York because I came to the East Coast for college, and I'd moved around to a bunch of different places in New England and upstate New York, and it ended up being that so many of those people that I'd met in all those places were all moving to New York, and it ended up just sort of sucking me in, and I was like, all right, that's the place to go, that's where everyone's going. So I've been in New York now for 2 years, and it's been really good. It's been really, there's a strong community of people, of bluegrass musicians, and good.
So what advice do you have for people that play classical music and want to play bluegrass music?
Oh, they should just do it. I bet learning to play by ear, learning to play with people, and learning to improvise and sort of, learning to play in a less formal environment are really, and whatever, there are a lot of different things about switching over or playing a different genre or a different style that come into play. And I think it's all worthwhile. Just takes doing.
Okay.
But
your band is the 2013 Fresh Grass Award winner. What was it like getting the award?
It was fun. I think it was, we had done a string of competitions at that time, and I think that we didn't really think too much about it. Aside from, we had this new music, and we had this new band, and we wanted to do as much as we could with it, knowing that everyone was sort of in a different place, as far as age and as far as what they were wanting to end up doing with it. So we sort of just wanted to do as much as we could when we could. And so, doing the competitions and then doing Fresh Grass was all just part of that, and it was very exciting, and it was around the time that we were making our first record. And I think that it gave us a leg up in a way that we wouldn't have had otherwise, both in terms of, making us sort of known by a wider audience, and, and sort of made the project more real to us. And, I think that it was definitely really helpful for us to have that as a sort of starting off point.
So where did you guys come up with the name Cricket Tell the Weather?
We had a long list of potential names, and that one came from, it was a phrase that Doug heard. Doug is our banjo player, and that he had heard at a reading of a play that he was part of, and they had yelled this phrase, "Cricket Tell the Weather," in the middle of a square dance scene. And there's not much more context to it other than that, and so he just put it on the list, and I looked at it, and it's great imagery. There's a lot there to like about it, and there's not any reason other than that.
Yeah, it is a cool name. So if you could go back in time and give a younger you advice, what would you say?
I think that maybe the advice that I would give would just, I don't know, that it sort of comes together. Yeah, like if just following the things that you're interested in, and really listening to the things that you're interested in, and following those and following your curiosity in that way is valuable.
Definitely.
Even if it doesn't feel cohesive all the time.
Definitely. So my podcast is called I Had to Ask, and I was wondering, what question do you wish people interviewing you had to ask you in interviews?
What question do I wish they had to ask me? I do like when I'm asked about a particular song and a particular sort of inspiration or meaning behind the song, because I do put in a lot of thought into both the crafting my lyrics for a song and choosing the songs that I end up putting on the album. So if there's ever a song that specifically speaks to someone or sparks something in someone, I appreciate when they ask about it.
Okay. So is there anything else you'd like to tell my listeners?
I would just say thank you to you, and thank you to them for listening. And if they want to check out the album Tell the Story Right, I would appreciate them listening and getting in touch with anything that they have to tell me about what they hear.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Lillian.
Be sure to check out Cricket Tell the Weather and their new album Tell the Story Right. Thanks for listening to I Had to Ask.